Okay, so OMNIVISION, you fairly recently launched the OP 03050. I think it's a liquid crystalline silicon power like LCOS panel. So just be good, I guess, to have the overview. What's the background to do the launch of the product?
So first, OmniVision, right? It's a leader in CIS image sensor, where we supply cameras for various applications like smartphones, security, automotive, emerging, etc., etc. We also have a LCOS product line where we supply LCOS to various applications such as display-oriented applications like the AR, MR glasses. Also, our LCOS being used in telecom as a switch. And recently, we also supplying our LCOS for automotive head-up display. So we've been in LCOS business for many, many, many years. We have our own manufacturing line, which is very unique. Our solution is also single chip. So OP3050 was launched as one of our first 3-micron pixel pitch using a single chip monolithic solutions where all the circuitry is fully integrated in a single device. So from a host point of view, all you have to do is basically send data over MIPI, all the control logic, frame buffer, display, all integrated into single die. So the key use case for 3050 is the wider field of view of AR, MR glasses, where user will have a more immersive experience with a larger resolution.
Okay, yeah, because I was going on to ask in terms of the applications and the benefits. So we're talking smart glasses, and I think also you've got some sort of B2B, but is that purely the smart glasses, or are there different types of applications when it comes to medical engineering, or is it still the same thing using smart glasses?
So for smart glasses, of course, OP3050 can also be used, but for smart glasses, I don't know if you had a chance to look at our web page, but we also launched a product maybe almost a year ago. The part number is OP03011, which is basically architecturally is very similar, single monolithic dies, single lane MIPI input from host. But the resolution is lower, so it's 648 by 648, and the pixel pitch is larger, 3.8 micron. So this smaller resolution gives you a couple of benefit and also a slightly different use case. So first, because of lower resolution, it's meant for smaller field of view, augmented, display applications. And also because it's small form factor, we have a very small size, low power. So for smart glasses, where your goal is to wear these glasses, almost 24/7 with low power, low heat, lower weight, that resolution actually is ideal. The OP3050, sure, you can also use it in smart glasses and other, but it will give you a little bit of a more immersive experience because of a larger resolution. So I expect two sets of use case. Of course, B2B is one, and there could also be a consumer use case as well.
Okay, and in terms of the just giving us a bit more details in terms, I mean, what I generally call the feeds and speeds, but we're talking things about pixels, form factor, display resolution. Just can you flesh out exactly what's available with the new model?
So for the OP3050, the pixel pitch is 3 micron. The resolution is roughly 1500 by 1200. And the optical format is 0.24 inch. While the OP3011 that was launched a year ago, it's 648 by 648, pixel pitch is 3.8, and optical format is 0.13. And you can imagine the optical format being so small, it's ideal for smart glasses for consumer application.
And maybe just widening the conversation out a little bit, it'd be good to understand. I mean, I sort of followed the industry, both semiconductors itself, but more generally IT, sort of augmented reality, mixed reality, extended reality. The whole idea has been out there for several years now. I remember, I think Google glasses were famously launched and everyone got excited, but there doesn't seem as yet to be a big uptake, should we say, a very general uptake. Is there a reason for that? Is there a particular bottleneck? Whether, I don't know, whether the chips aren't available, or is it just consumers aren't ready? Your thoughts, I suppose, as to where we are and why we're perhaps not further down the road.
No, it's a great questions. I think even myself, right? I mean, if I go back to, let's say, 4 or 5 years ago, and if I were to kind of project back then, by this time we should have been actually in a more, a larger volume category of this type of device. But industry is still not there. I think there are various reasons. I think one is the form factor. So if you want consumer focused product where form factor is extremely important, right? You don't want very heavyweight glasses. You need to wear almost 24/7 if possible. It needs to be lightweight, and also it needs to be very low power because there is not much space in these glasses. So for those reasons, I think from a hardware point of view, I think industry is still trying to push boundaries. And then on the use case point of view, there's still, I guess, industry-wise, okay, what are the key use case for these AR glasses? So, for example, if you're targeting more consumer-oriented glasses, I think this type of glasses would be more of a cell phone accessory where you can imagine, content is being, augmented in front of your eyes. When a message is coming or phone is coming, you should be able to take the phone call and, kind of converse. It may be able to display, directions, things like that. But if you go to high resolutions, I think I guess few things. I think the mechanical point of view, the industry still wants to push hard so that it can be lower power while also high resolution. So that requires company like us to invest into more advanced process node, reduce power, things of that nature. So it's a combination of many things, I think, where because of those reasons, I think the adoption is still kind of in more of a dormant stage, right? But I do see that I think if you were at CES this year, there were a lot of smart glasses without display, where I think the consumer are getting used to it, and then you can kind of imagine, the next version of those glasses would start adding display in the future. So that's kind of a little bit long answer, and I would probably also add one more thing where I think you also want the consumer brand company to introduce this product, right? So as you already alluded, Google was one of the first one to introduce these, but since then there are not too many consumer focused brand that actually brought any product. But once you actually start seeing product from consumer branded companies, I think the market will start increasing.
And I mean, in amongst what you explained, do you think there is because often a piece of technology requires a sort of killer app, something that everyone just must have, and that's when it sort of gains traction and mainstream. Is there such a killer app, do you think, around the smart glass idea, or as you say, is it, I don't know, I'm gonna have to use the names, if Apple suddenly, as you say, launches some in or makes it a must-have accessory to do with the iPhone as well, or something like that? Is that what'll drive it? Any thoughts?
I do believe, I think especially let's say, if you are wearing glasses, prescription glasses where, you need glasses, then to me, I think it becomes kind of a natural progressions. Why would not have a smart glasses where it also serves as my corrective glasses, but then also acts like my Bluetooth speaker and also gives me, display capability. So I do believe, I think the smaller field of view smart glasses, I think could very well, become kind of like your smartphone accessories. While the large field of view, where high resolution, is needed, I think it's going to take some time, in terms of like, what could be the killer applications where you want to have. For B2B, it's clear, but for consumer, I think it's still not 100% sure.
Okay, and maybe then just before we finish, and perhaps it's a bit unfair of me, bearing in mind we're talking about something you've just fairly recently launched. But in terms of the roadmap for OmniVision for 2024, are there things you're able to share in terms of what else is planned for the year? Any other launches, or just growing the company? Just anything you can share would be good.
So we, are, invested in LCOS display, as I mentioned earlier, and we continue actually investing into this segment because we do believe at some point, I think the market will grow. It's just the time, when the killer app, the hardware, all that would be lined up. So with that said, I mean, we are working on also next generation of LCOS, where, as I mentioned earlier, our goal is to reduce power form factor, which will allow our end customer to come out with a product that consumer would want. So in AR VR, yes, we are investing, and you will see actually a new product from us. And we also, are supplying LCOS into other use case as well. And, we will continue offering LCOS into like automotive head-up display, telecom as well. So short answer or long answer, I would say yes, you would see more product from us.
And actually, just before the autonomous vehicles, or the way vehicles are being developed, that intrigues me, because obviously there's a lot of IT basically being installed in vehicles. That's almost going to be the differentiator, moving forward. So could you foresee, rather than the relative expense of having to kit out panels and all sorts, could you foresee a state where maybe the automotive industry thinks, hey, if we sell this car with smart glasses, where a lot of what would previously have been available, in expensive sort of panel displays and stuff, is that an area where do you think the possible, whether it's killer app or at least an area for growth, is that something that makes sense?
Can you please repeat? So this is more for consumer or for automotive head-up display? I'm
Yeah, no, I'm thinking automotive, as I say, because as I understand it, that although they're putting a lot more IT into the vehicles, it's still relatively traditional in that it's being installed physically into the dashboard and into the actual vehicle infrastructure. Whereas without doing that, you could supply potentially a pair of a set of smart glasses that could do a lot of that and be much more flexible than having filled out the car with everything once it's in. It's it's not exactly obsolete, but just your thoughts as to that sort of flexibility it would provide.
I think that's a good questions, but also I think it's going to be challenging. I think the safety it's a number one criteria in automotive, right? So anything that distract driver will make it kind of a non-starter. So I think if you have these glasses, if it becomes a little bit of more distractive, that may not be the ideal use case for automotive. The head-up display makes sense because it's right in front of your windshield, and there are some other use case that we are monitoring in automotive where actually LCOS could also be a player, such as there are other applications like adaptive driving beams, where you want, in a pitch dark, let's say rural area, it could also project the white dividers or yellow dividers or whatever, while you're driving. There are some other use case like welcome sign and things like that. So I personally think glasses replacing traditional HUD would be challenged, would be tough, I think, from a driver distraction point of view and safety point of view.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Other than the fact that the whole trend in the cars seems to be to put more, shall we say, distractions in inverted commas in there. But no, I get your point. So thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I think we've covered a fair amount of ground, and it's been great to chat to you. And thanks for sharing insights, both obviously at what's going on at OMNIVISION and your thoughts more generally on the AR, MR, etc. So, Devang, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Yeah, and there is one more thing that maybe I would also add.
Sure.
You mentioned earlier about will we see the more product from OVT? I think the answer was yes, but I think we are probably also one of the I would say maybe remaining company in LCOS, right, where we basically doing most of our manufacturing also by ourselves. So we procure the wafer from our foundry because we are a fabless company. But all the backend in LCOS, like liquid crystal, LC filling, the laminations of the glass, the packaging, the package design, bonding, testing, this is all done by our 12-inch semi-automated line, where actually you are basically dealing with one supplier rather than actually dealing with multiple suppliers. So many of small players which are still exist in the industry, some of them are of course our competitor. I think we'll have to invest into this type of manufacturing capability for them to also survive in the future.
Okay, no, that's an interesting point. But again, Devang, thank you very much for your time. Enjoyed chatting. Thank you.
Nice meeting you, Philip, and have a wonderful day. Thank
Thanks
you.
again.
Bye.